Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the straw flower hexagon motif. This is a really pretty and fun hexagon that you can crochet. It has a dimensional flower in the center, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and each hexagon measures about 5 inches across from corner to corner. So for this project, you'll need a 6mm J crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and you'll need some worsted weight yarn. You can really use any worsted weight yarn for this hexagon, but I used Knit Picks Brava worsted, and the colors I used were the Fig, the Dove Heather, and the Denim. And this is a really soft yarn. This is kind of silvery looking. This one's kind of like a soft golden color. And then this real nice medium kind of tone blue. So let's get started. I used 3 colors for my hexagons, but you can really use any color. You could use a different round for each color. But I did find that switching colors each round really showed off the flower and the stitches. So to begin your hexagon, you're going to begin with the center flower. And I am going to make mine in blue because I've already made a Dove Heather and a Fig centered hexagon. So to begin, you're going to put a slip knot on your hook. Wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook, bring up a loop and tighten. Then you're going to chain 4. To make a chain, wrap yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, you'll want to join to make a ring. We're going to be working the stitches into the center of the ring. So in the chain farthest from the hook, insert your hook into the chain, bring up a loop. Bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and we now have our ring. You can kind of open that up a little bit if you need to. We're also going to take this tail and hold it along the edge as we work, and that will weave it in as we go along. So to begin, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. In the written pattern, this is round 1. Okay, so chain 3, then work 2 double crochets into the center of the ring. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. Yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. One more. And this is our first petal. So each one of these petals from now on is going to be 3 double crochets, but because we did this chain 3 at the beginning, that counted as one of our double crochets. So we now have our first petal. Then we're going to work a slip stitch into the center of the ring. Insert the hook into the center, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Next, work 3 double crochets, then a slip stitch. We're going to be doing this 5 more times because we need a total of 6 petals. So 1, hold that tail as you go along, 2, 3, then a slip stitch. If you need to push things over a bit, that's okay too, because we're going to be working lots of stitches into the center. Let's go on to the next petal. So that's 3 double crochets, then a slip stitch for the next petal. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch. Push things over if you need to. Next petal, 3 double crochets, slip stitch. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Work a slip stitch into the center. So now we have 4 petals. We need 2 more. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to get a little bit more yarn here. Slip stitch. Okay, we need just one more petal because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so last petal, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Work a slip stitch to finish off that last petal. Then we're going to join where we began with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so at this point, because we're going to be switching colors, you can just cut the yarn and go ahead and fasten off. And we're going to be weaving the ends in as we go along. So you can just leave this tail, but this center tail you can pull tight to close it up, trim the yarn, and you can shape it up a bit if you need to. So our center flower is complete. You can see it looks like our other hexagon. So let's move on to round 2. Okay, to work round 2, what we're going to do is tie. We're going to take the next color, any color you like, and we're going to tie the yarn into the back loops at the top of one of our petals. So any petal, it doesn't matter. You can just carefully get your crochet hook into those back loops of one of the petals. And then you can see I left that front loop intact, okay? So then we're just going to tie that right on. And it's okay to leave the ends. We'll either weave them in or work them in as we go. Okay, so we've tied that on to the back loops of one of the petals. Then we're going to insert the hook as if we're working a back post double crochet. So just take your hook and come up from the back to the front. So each one of our petals has 3 posts because we worked 3 double crochets. We have a post, a center post, and then a post. Okay, so just locate that center post of the same petal, bring your hook from back to front, and then go over top of the post and back down, just like that. Now bring your yarn through as if we're working a back post double crochet, and then chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, just like that, okay? Then, because we're doing it this way because we're going to be working a back post double crochet into the rest of the petals, so this is going to make it look more consistent than just tying it right on to the top part. So then what we're going to do is in between the petals here, where it dips down, we're going to work a treble crochet into the center of the ring. So wrap yarn around hook 2 times, insert the hook into the center of the ring, and bring up the loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the next 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. So it's going to kind of look like that. This is going to give us that sort of caged or sewn down look that we're using. These are just simply spike stitches, but we're working them into the round, into the center of the flower. Okay, then we're going to chain 1. Then we've arrived at our next petal. So we're going to work a back post double crochet into the top center of that petal. So wrap yarn around hook, locate that center post. It's right there. Come in from the back, go over top of the post with your hook. To the other side, bring the yarn through, and then you're going to just complete your stitch just like a regular back post double crochet. Just like that, okay? So chain 1, and then we're going to do the same thing that we did in between the petals before. Work a treble crochet, insert the hook into the center of the ring, yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the next 2 loops, yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. So we're starting to get that same look from the other hexagons. So chain 1, then we're going to do the same thing. Work a back post double crochet into that centermost post of our petal. Then just complete the stitch as you would with a regular double crochet. Okay, next we're going to chain 1, then do the same thing. Work a treble crochet into the center of the ring in between those petals. Just finish off the stitch just as you normally would for a treble crochet. Chain 1, work a back post double crochet in between those flowers, the centermost flower petal, and then just finish the stitch as you would for your regular double crochet. Okay, let's get a little bit more yarn. We're coming around the side here. Chain 1, work a treble crochet into the center of the ring in between the petals again. Okay, just like that. Chain 1, locate that centermost post and work a back post double crochet to that center petal there. Okay, then coming around to the end here, chain 1, work a treble crochet into the center of the ring. Finish off the stitch as you normally would with a treble crochet. Chain 1. We can just get these ends out of the way for now. Okay, so locate. I wanted to point something out. Sometimes when you make a spike stitch, it can get a little bit split. Just take your tapestry needle or your hook and just kind of straighten that out. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, we're going to locate that next petal. Okay, we're in the home stretch. So we're just going to work a back post double crochet, same way we've been doing, to that last petal. Just like that. And to finish off the round, we'll work the treble crochet in between those last 2 petals. Okay, just to finish it off. Just like that. Then we'll chain 1, and then we're going to join. This is where we began. We're going to join with a slip stitch just to close off the round. This round probably takes the longest to complete because you have to be very careful and get all the stitches into the right places. Okay, now I wanted to point out, because we worked back post double crochets, it kind of pops out our flower and makes it look more dimensional. So your shape is going to look kind of like a bowl at this time, and that is totally normal. It's totally what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so we're going to fasten off with our silvery colored yarn, just like that. Okay, so let's move on to round 3. And before you begin, you might want to just kind of straighten things out a little bit. Now, as you work, if you notice, this looks kind of like a bowl and it's sticking out a lot. As you work the next couple of rounds, this will naturally just kind of flatten out. The flower will stay pretty dimensional, but this bowl shape will flatten out. This is totally normal. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, I'm going to switch colors. We're going to go with this gold color. And then I'm just going to tie any of these spaces in between. Doesn't matter. Just tie it on. Right onto that, in that space there. Okay. Now, insert your hook back into that space, bring up a loop, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. If we go back to our other hexagon, this is going to be, in this hexagon is this blue round. Ours is going to be in gold. So we're going to chain 3. Then in the same space, we're going to work a double crochet then a chain 1. Go on to the next space. The next space, work 2 double crochet, chain 1. So 1, 2, chain 1. Okay, next space, work 2 double crochet, chain 1. So we're going to be doing this in each space all the way around. Chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochet, then a chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochet, chain 1. If you notice this tail here, when we tied on this gold color, I'm holding it along the edge as we go along. So I left some of the tails hanging down, and I'm weaving in some of the tails just to show you both ways, okay? So continue around, 2 double crochet, chain 1. 1, 2, chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochet, and a chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochet, and a chain 1. Now here's our tail. If you're weaving in as you go along, sometimes you'll reach the end of that tail. What I like to do, we're just going to stop for a moment, give it a little tug, give it a little snip, and kind of straighten things out, and it'll disappear. Okay, so we'll just keep going. 2 double crochet, chain 1 all the way around. Next space, 2 double crochet, chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochet, chain 1. Let's get a little more yarn. Almost finished. Next space, 2 double crochet, chain 1. Okay, we've arrived at the last space. So what we'll do is just insert the hook where we began, work a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, it's still looking kind of like a bowl shape, totally normal, totally fine. Trim the yarn and fasten off. Okay, I wanted to point out we're going to begin round 4 next, but before we begin, I wanted to point out our hexagon is not officially a hexagon yet. It is still a circle. Okay, if we go back here, look at our hexagons. We just worked, what we have on here is the gold round. So we are going to work this round here that's in silver. This is what makes our circle a hexagon. So in round 4, we'll be transforming it into a hexagon. Okay, so let's get started on round 4. Okay, to work round 4, this will be our last round of our hexagon. You're going to locate, we're going to be working in between the spaces that we created from the chain 1 in the previous round. Okay, so just insert your hook, bring the new yarn through, and just tie it into any of these spaces. I wanted to point out we're working in the spaces, not the stitches. Okay, so just tie that right on. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is, if you look at our hexagon, we have a corner, a side, a corner, a side, a corner, a side, and so forth. We're going to begin by working a corner first. Okay, so insert your hook back into that area where you tied on the yarn and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this will count as one of the double crochets. Then we'll work 2 double crochets into the same space. 1, I'm holding the yarn as I go. We're weaving that end in again. 2 and 3. Okay, so we have the chain 3 and then 2 double crochets. Okay, chain 1 and work in the same space, work 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Let's get some more yarn here. So this is our first, let me get my hook out of the way. This is our first corner. As you can see, because of that chain 1 in between, it's kind of fanning it out a little bit to make that corner. Just like that, okay? So let's work a side. So we're going to be doing, again, corner, side, all the way around. To make a side, so we'll chain 1, locate the next space, the chain 1 space from the previous round, and just work 3 double crochets into that space. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1, move on to the next space. Okay, so let's work the next corner. Locate the next space, and again, we're holding this tail as we go. So again, we're working corner, side, all the way around. So this corner will be 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, all in the same space. 2, and 3. Okay, this is kind of what it looks like so far. Next, because we just worked a corner, we're going to work a side. So chain 1 and work 3 double crochet, chain 1 into this space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Let's go on to the next space. And we just worked a side, so we're going to work a corner. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Let's grab some yarn here. Okay, let's finish up our corner, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. If you notice, we've arrived at another tail, so we can just incorporate that one as we go along too. And I'm going to grab some more yarn from the yarn ball here. Okay. So we just did a corner. Now we're going to do a side again. So chain 1. We're going to incorporate this tail in as well. This tail has kind of run its course, so we'll just trim that later. So let's get this tail woven in. So we're working a side, so 3 double crochet, chain 1. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Go to the next space, we'll work a corner. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, in the same space, 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Starting to look very, very much like a hexagon. In fact, it's halfway to being a hexagon. Okay, so let's get our yarn situated here. All right, so we just worked a corner. Now we're going to work a side. Again, that's 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Next space, work a corner. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're almost to the end of this round. You can just kind of straighten things up as we go. Chain 1. Next space will be a side. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. Our hexagon is looking very pretty, so let's finish it up. We'll work our last corner. 1, 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1, same space, 3 double crochet. This will be our last corner of this round. Okay, chain 1, and then we have one more space left. We'll just work a side. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Okay, so let's join where we began with a slip stitch to close this round. Okay, just like that. Then we can trim and fasten off. Okay, then you can kind of shape it up. Our flower looks very dimensional, like our other ones. So our hexagon is complete, more or less. So we have some tails. So some of these tails we wove in as we went along. So if you chose that option, you can just go ahead and trim the ones that you wove in as you went along. See this blue one we incorporated. Now, the ones that you weave, so I'm going to show you how to weave in one tail here. Just thread your tapestry needle. Now I want to point out, because this is a multicolor project, when you flip it over to the back, when you're working tails into a multicolor project, you want to weave in the color into the corresponding color. So we will try to avoid weaving blue into the gold or blue into the silver. We're going to try and weave in blue into the blue, okay? So go ahead and just weave that in one direction, come back in the other direction. Then you can take your scissors and trim. And then you'll just repeat this for all of the other tails that you have, okay? So once you're done weaving everything in, your hexagon will be complete. So that is how you crochet the straw flower hexagon motif. We now have one of each color combination. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again!